Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBP USD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's jump right into it. Looking at Forex Factory. Today is Wednesday. We have CPI for the pound and FOMC minutes for the USD. So that is at 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. And yesterday for the pound, we had this Claremont count change, which for the most part I did not expect for it to have, much impact really. But yeah, well, after the announcement, the pound just started to tank. The pound just started to tank, and afterwards, obviously, we had a bit of a retracement, and then it continued to tank the rest of the session all the way into New York. All right, so let's jump into the charts and let's have a look. So, starting with the Euro USD, this is what we have. So, we had this change of character right there. All right, we had a change of character right there. Our swing and internal, they are bullish. We're in a pullback phase. We say this is a fractal demand, and price mitigated the fractal demand and gave a strong reaction out of the demand. However, you still see that the candles, they are pretty small. Okay, candles are pretty small. So price is still a bit consolidative at the moment. For the pound, it's the same. We've had our break of structure. Swing and internal are bullish, but we are currently in an internal a retracement phase, and we mitigated the supply, which is still holding, and price is coming down. Now we have swept these lows, and we had a bit of a reaction. Now we don't know whether price will then continue from there, or price will still come down, maybe targeting this to mitigate this demand right at the EQ. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. So one thing we have to understand is that when we do analysis, it's to give us a framework of what to expect, to make trading decisions based off of. So it's not to say that this is what price has to do. Okay, remember, the market is always right. Price will always do what it wants to do. The market will always do what it wants to do. But we have to be able to then react. Okay, we have to be able to then react once the market gives us a signal, relative to maybe what we want to see. At times it doesn't give us that signal, and we may have to wait out, just sit on the sidelines and just watch everything play out. Or if you are reactive enough, then you might jump in and catch something from there. Okay, so just had to point that out. So let's look at the 4 hour. Okay, let's look at the 4 hour on the Euro USD. So this is what we have. So I had been saying that, I think yesterday I mentioned that I'll be looking for some kind of longs once we break below this this low. Okay, sorry. Once we break this low, okay, and I was saying that probably maybe we might be looking at targeting some areas up here. Okay, somewhere in this region. Now, I don't think we got a very good POI to start with. Okay, to be able to look for those longs. Okay, so still waiting for a bit more information, and then we'll see if I can jump in on longs. Okay. Now, obviously, this demand, right, has been eliminated. Okay, so it failed. Okay, but then price reacted sharply after breaking this level of demand. So on the 4-hour, we're still waiting. Okay, we're still waiting. Now remember, we are still bullish. Swing internal is also bullish. Okay, and then this has been a retracement, and then we had a break to the upside again. So this could be our strong sub internal. Okay, remember our main internal is down there. All right, and then our swing high as well as our weak internal high is also up there. So all of this was sub internal price action. Okay, so the low of our sub is here, and then the high is up there, and then right up there we have relatively equal highs. So my expectation is that once the pullback is complete, okay, once the pullback is complete, then we should be targeting all of this liquidity up there as well as these relatively equal highs. So what that means is, let's see if I pull up my fib for premium and discount. Okay, so we've already mitigated discount. Okay, so we've already mitigated discount. So what that means is it is highly likely, okay, that if price is now ready to go bullish, okay, we could now start pushing up from this point onwards. All right, we could start pushing up strongly from this point onwards as well. So we have liquidity to target, trend line as well as all of these relatively equal highs, and everything else on the left in this leg has been mitigated as well. So really there won't be anything to stop price once it starts pushing up. And who knows, maybe FOMC today might be the catalyst to kickstart that. Okay, so that's something that could happen. Another thing as well is it's also possible that we still have these unmitigated demand, okay, and imbalances. All right, so it is possible that price could still continue bearish, mitigate this, and then look to go long, or it could continue to this extreme and then and then start going long from that point onwards. Okay, so those are possibilities. So we just have to be looking out and see how price action will play out, and then we make a decision based off of that. And then looking at the 1 hour, this is what we have. All right, so looking at the 1 hour, in general, this is what we're looking at. So 1 hour, we are bearish. Okay, so our swing is bearish. Our internal is bullish. Okay, this is where we had our internal bullish break of structure. Okay, and then this is our internal range that we're in. Okay, so price has mitigated discount, and we've had our sub internal break of structure to the upside. So it is possible that we could now be targeting this weak internal high. Okay, and then we have all this resting liquidity up here that could also be taken. Yes, this is a strong area, so price could come up here and then react as well. Okay, so zooming into the price action, looking at the current price action, this is what we have. I'm just gonna move this. All right, so demand that has failed, and then this has failed. 4 hour has also failed, but all of this has been corrective price action. Okay, so we have all this liquidity that's resting up here. So I'm anticipating that possibly we could see something like this, right? And then we go. Okay, and then we go. So that's what I'll be looking at. Okay, that's what I will be looking at. We have resting liquidity, a lot of it. So at some point that's got to go. Okay, that's going to go. That's going to go. So we'll wait and see, but this is what I'm looking at. Might be looking at buys once price comes in and mitigates this area or around this area, then might be looking for buys. Okay. So it's also good because that then aligns with the higher time frames. Okay, so our 4-hour and our daily internal and swing, they are bullish. So once we start getting bullish price action, then we are very much aligned, okay, with higher time frames. Okay, so that's it for the Euro USD. Now let's look at the GBP USD, and then starting with the daily. So supply still being respected. We swept these lows and we came up. Okay, it is still possible that price could drop, okay, to mitigate this demand at the EQ, okay, before we start looking to go long. However, because we've swept this liquidity and we pushed up strongly, okay, it is also possible that that could be the signal that price is now ready to continue bullish until we take out this weak supply, okay, or this weak high instead. Obviously the first thing that price needs to do is to take out all right, so a new supply has been created right here, okay, though it's not a strong supply because we only have a weak break, okay, but this is fractal structure, so the fractal supply has been created. So we need to see this fractal supply fail as well as this supply at the top fail as well, okay, and then once those fail, then it kind of confirms that the price is now ready to continue bullish, maybe towards this week high, okay. So looking at the 4-hour, this is what we have. So we are within this range, okay. So our 4-hour swing is bullish, our internal is bearish, okay, our internal is bearish. Now we have not broken structure to the downside, okay, we only had a weak break, all right, and then we've come back up. Now there is all this very consolidative price action, okay, and this supply is still holding, it has not been violated. So this supply has failed. So whilst this low is weak, okay, we have had a reaction. So who knows, price might continue, okay, we've had this pullback, price might continue to come down and mitigate this extreme supply closer to the strong swing low, okay. So it is a possibility because we also have these relatively equal lows as well, okay, so that could be a target. However, price could just range and then wait for the FOMC tonight, okay, and then we may see it may push down and then push up, who knows, or it may just start by going up, okay. That we'll have to wait and see, but I would say maybe for higher probability trades we might be looking at maybe if it comes down, mitigates this area, and then start looking for longs from there, okay. If it continues bullish from here, then we are still trading, so the internal is bearish. Okay, so yes, from a swing perspective, we have we have entered the discount range. Okay, so any point from here, it could start to continue bullish, but I would suspect that it may drop down, at least to mitigate this area, okay, before start going up. Okay, so remember, these are scenarios of what we may want to see happen, okay, for us to have confidence in order to take trades or to look for trade setups. And then looking at the 1 hour, so looking at the 1 hour, there's our internal range as well as our swing range. So this is what we have. So internally, so our swing is bullish. Okay, our swing is bullish. This is our weak swing high. And then internally we are bearish. Okay, we've had this bearish breaks of structure. Okay, and then we've had another bearish break of structure. So actually our internal, okay, has shifted. Let's see. Let's confirm it. Okay, we had a swing break exactly with an internal break with the candle close right there. Okay, although it's been a close and a mitigation, actually this supply is no longer relevant. This demand as well, sorry, demand, not supply. So all these areas are no longer relevant, so let me just take them out. Okay, and then this is the range that we are now playing in, playing within. Okay, so that's the strong swing internal. Okay, and then that is an internal break of structure. Okay, all right, so after a break we expect a pullback, and then so we just had a break and then we had a pullback. So we do have an area of supply right there. Okay, which caused this break of structure with the strong departure and everything else. Okay, so that could be an interesting area to look for shorts if price comes in to that area. Okay, and then just looking for quick 2-hour, okay, 2-hour trades, in and out, in and out. Okay, so in terms of the pound looks like we are looking for shorts. Although it is likely that these areas could fail, okay, because the price action is very weak, is very poor. Okay, now in terms of resting liquidity, we don't have any clear resting liquidity on the pound, like at the top. Okay, except down here. All right, so it is possible that price could push up, mitigate or sweep these areas, and then start coming down, to take liquidity from here as well as maybe down there as well. Okay, so shorts are pretty much in play at the moment. The internal is bearish, the swing is bullish, so you may want to lean on the internal. All right, but once we get into deep discount, then you'd want to lean more on the swing. Okay, now remember, of course, price could just turn from here, okay, because we're already in discount and we've mitigated demand. Okay, this 4-hour demand which is still holding, right, and price has reacted. Now obviously, for us to have a bit more confidence, we need to see supply areas fail for us to start looking for longs. Okay, so So that's also another thing. Okay, so we may have this area fail, and yeah, we may see this area fail, and then maybe a whole bunch of this area needs to fail as well. Okay, for us to have confidence to look for longs. But that's what I have for you today. If it's not clear, then you stay out. Okay, it's as simple as that. Wait for clear price action, and then you make your trading decisions after you have clear price action. So this is just a guide to give you an insight and an idea of what how I'm looking at the charts and what I'm seeing. Okay. All right. So other than that, please have a good day. Do leave a like and a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're seeing value in this material. Otherwise, have a good day, and Working Trader out.